everybody! Welcome back to Learning to Mom. My name's Elisa, and this week I'm talking about unplugging. So, we recently did a week of no TV with our kids, and I know that for some people that might not seem like a very big deal, but it was a pretty big deal for us. So I had a lot of anticipation building up for this week. I had it marked on my calendar for like 3 weeks before we actually did it. And I was super nervous about how it was gonna go, but let me tell you, it was 100% worth it. Don't get me wrong, I am not against TV time for kids. It's a really marvelous thing when they sit still for 22 minutes, and I'm not about to take that away from them. But if your kids are anything like my kids were and the show obsession was becoming a little too real, then maybe you could try a TV fast like we did, and maybe you'll see some awesome results like we did. I was pretty confident in my decision to do this TV fast, but when I announced it to my kids and they like literally freaked the frack out, I felt like, yeah, this is a good thing. But besides that moment of freak out, the rest of the week went surprisingly well. Like, I was actually mind blown at how well my kids did not watching TV, that it kind of made me want to never turn on the TV again. That didn't happen. We've definitely turned the TV back on since then. But I just want to show you a little bit of the magic that happened when we didn't watch TV for a week. Within minutes of the little freak out that came from the announcement of no TV, I found my kids reading books together without me prompting them. It was one of the most magical things I found as a mom, and the whole week was filled with those little magical moments. My kids used their imaginations more, they played together nicely, they played games, they created things, they played outside, and really, they had the type of childhood that I've always wanted my children to have. That's not to say this week didn't have its fair share of crazy moments and fits and mom about to pull her hair out. There were definitely those, but there were actually less moments like that than there were on a regular week where we watch way too much TV. But the cherry on top of this awesome week was when we reintroduced shows to our kids. I let them each pick one episode, they watched them, I turned off the TV, there was no fight back, and they just hopped off the couch and grabbed books and started reading them. It was awesome. If this is something that you want to try, but the thought of turning off the TV literally sends trepidation through your soul, I get you. That was me. I was very, very scared to do this. TV was like how I coped as a mom. But after this week, I've got a few tips for you that might help you make this transition to having less TV. Tip number 1 is to set a reasonable time limit for how long you're gonna do this for. That could be a week, a month, even a day if that's all you think you can handle. We did it for a business week, and I thought that was a good amount of time for us because it gave us several days, but it wasn't like so far off in the future that my kids lost hope that they would ever get to watch TV again. Number 2 is to be committed. By the morning of the 3rd day, when my 2-year-old woke up, the first thing he said was, no shows, no shows. And then after that, it was easier and they didn't ask for shows anymore because they knew that I was serious about it and that the TV wasn't gonna get turned on. Number 3 is to set yourself up for success. And by that, I mean have activities planned that can take the place of TV time. I'm actually gonna be coming out with a video really soon of my favorite toddler activities, so stay tuned for that. And my last tip number 4, might seem a little bit counterintuitive to tip number 3, but it's to turn the responsibility of entertainment over to your kids rather than you taking responsibility for it. There's definitely gotta be a balance between you providing activities and your kids figuring out things to do on their own, but I was actually really surprised at when I told my kids, you come up with something, how they like ran with it and found something to do really quickly. There you have my 4 tips for going a week with no TV, but I wanna know, is that something that you'd wanna do with your kids? Have you ever gone without TV with your kids? Leave me your best tips about it in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.